So what is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil 19 here, and today we are going to go over the most rare and expensive variable action heroes One Piece figures. So yes, we are returning with these videos. Mega House released a pretty good amount of characters, and they were so close to completing the Straw Hats, but they never did, sadly. But they did make a ton of characters from the series, and I hope SH Figure Arts can surpass the amount of characters Mega House made in their VAH line. Only time will tell. VAH is a beautiful figure line, and they made some fan-frickin'-tastic figures. Their detail was always on point, their accessories were also great, and they always hooked it up with articulation, which was really well done. These variable action heroes figures really did have some nice movement on them, but they did experience QC issues here and there, like people getting two right hands or two left hands instead of a left and a right, and their plastic also wasn't the most durable, but it really wasn't that bad. When you would get skinnier or more slim characters or women, their joints would end up breaking super easy, so you had to be very careful articulating them like Boa Hancock and Nico Robin. But overall, this line was amazing, and it was more of like a 7-inch, 8-inch figure scale line, which I was fine with. So before we move forward here, just keep in mind the only way I can really look up how much figures are going for currently or sold for is on eBay. So a lot of the info I get is off eBay because you look at how much it's sold for recently. A lot of other websites don't really do that. So without further ado, let's get into this goddamn video already, because I want to talk One Piece and figures. So we are going to touch up on a few cheaper characters, then the second most expensive, and then the last top 5 most rare and expensive variable action heroes One Piece figures. So starting it off here with a few cheaper figures, and keep in mind I didn't list off every single figure here. So the time skip version of Luffy, he's going for around like 60 to 110 bucks right now, which really isn't too bad because you've retailed for about $60-$70. Another cheaper one is Sabo. He's around the $85, $120 price range currently. Then we have the time skip Zoro, who's at a decent price as well. He's between like 100 and 150, a little bit on the pricey side, but not too bad. And then Chopper, he's going for like 100 through like 180. So those are some of the more cheaper figures. There's some other ones that are cheaper as well. Like I said, I didn't list off every single one. So now let's move on to the second most expensive figures in the line currently. So coming in next here, we have Perona. Now she's going for around like 165 through like 185, and the last couple sold for about $185. Boa Hancock, kind of around the same price, 165, 185, and the last few of her figures sold for between like 140 through like 180. Then we do have Rob Lucci. He's going a little pricey, actually. He's like $175 to over $250. The last couple of Luccis that sold was for around like $150 through like $170. So now we got that out of the way. Let's move on to the top 5 most expensive variable action heroes One Piece figures. And coming in at number 5 is a tie, actually. And we have a couple of ties until we get to like numbers 2 and 1. So coming in at number 5, like I said, is a tie. So we have Mihawk Law version 2, and then we do have the pre-time skip Roanoa Zoro. So now Mihawk here, he's going for around like 175 and well over $200. The last couple of Mihawk figures sold for about 180, and another one sold for about 200 bucks. Now the pre-time skip Zoro, he's going for around like 190 and well over 200. The last few pre-time skip Zoros sold for about $180 through $200. And then the version 2 of Trafalgar Law, he's going for around like $220 and up. So he's pretty pricey at the moment, and he's a really good figure, actually. The last couple sold for around like $210 to $230 recently. So now coming in at number 4, we have 2 figures here. So we have the pre-time skip Luffy, and we have his buddy Usopp. So the pre-time skip Luffy is going for around like $220 and up, and the only and latest pre-time skip Luffy that sold for was about $220. Like, geez. And Usopp is going for about $230 and up, and the last Usopp sold for $230. Now moving on to number 3 here, we have Nami, the swimsuit version, Crocodile, and Shanks. Not surprised to see Shanks and Crocodile this high up on the list. So the swimsuit version of Nami, she's going for around like $270 to $285. And the last couple swimsuit versions of Nami sold for about $270 through $285. Now Crocodile, he's going for about $220 to $300. The last couple that were brand new of Crocodile that sold were $300. Like, jeez. The next tier we have Shanks. I only found one for $190. I believe that was used though, and the only other ones I saw were going for over $400. And the last ones that sold were the same as Crocodile. They were selling for $300. So I'm not surprised Shanks and Crocodile jumped up this much in price. So now moving on to the last two here, and coming in at number 2 is my anime wife, and that is Nico Robin. She's going for currently between $300 to $450. The last couple Nico Robins that sold, they sold for around like $225 through $265. So not as bad as what she's currently listed as. But number 1 here is going for a decent amount of money. So number 1 is Whitebeard. Not surprised he's number 1. He's a huge figure and a huge fan favorite. So Whitebeard is currently going for $375 and up. The last few Whitebeard figures that sold were for $378, $400, and one sold for $511. Like, my goodness. So yeah, Whitebeard definitely jumped up a lot in price. Same with Nico Robin. Like, the cheapest one I saw that you could buy right now was at $300, and others were $450 and some were hitting like $500. So kind of crazy how the top 2 figures here are really going for a lot of money. But all right, there you have it, the most rare and expensive variable action heroes One Piece figures. And man, some of these just went up drastically in price. Like I was saying, Whitebeard and Nico Robin. I knew some figures would get super expensive, but not how much Whitebeard ended up becoming. But VAH doesn't really do reissues too much. They have done reissues of like Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, but not really the other characters like Whitebeard, Usopp, Nico Robin, Shanks, and others. I don't think we'll see anything else in the line. If we do, we are some lucky mofos, but I think they were slowly cutting off the line because the last 2 figures that did release were the Wano arc versions of Luffy and Zoro, and we haven't gotten anything since. They did have a great run and made some amazing pieces, and if you have all of these figures, I know that your display shelf looks amazing, so keep them there. Plus you have a few grand in figures too. But anyway, that is the video. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you want me to continue these types of videos, because they are pretty fun to make. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, I will catch you on the next episode of Daredevil 19, and I will also see you guys later.